Hello everyone! I hope you're ready for another adventure, because today Wayne reads Treasury of Literature. Always remember that as we go through these amazing adventures and read these outstanding stories, all you have to do is press the CC button in your YouTube link in order to follow along with the words. Now I think that Bumblebee will be perfect to join us for today's adventure. Now that Bumblebee is here, let's jump in. Treasury of Literature. Down under, down under. Scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef, an exciting adventure for a young girl. She is joined on the dive by her marine biologist mom and an expert diver named Sharon, the captain of the dive boat, and some eager underwater photographers. When I told my friends I was going to the Great Barrier Reef, they wanted to know why it was so special. First of all, it's huge. Picture a coral reef that stretches underwater from New York to Florida. The Great Barrier Reef is 1,250 miles long, extending from northeastern Australia to the shores of Papua New Guinea. It's not one long reef though. It's made up of 2,000 scattered reefs, plus small tree-covered islands and low sandy islands called cays, separated by winding channels. Just think, the Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest living thing, yet it was built by individual pea-sized animals called polyps. The polyps' limestone skeletons piled up on top of each other over the centuries, building huge reefs, each different from the others. At low tide, I see the top of the reefs breaking the surface of the water. Captain Chris says that there are about 1,500 species of fish living on the Great Barrier Reef and 400 different kinds of coral. I was going to keep a list of the fish and coral I see, but with so many varieties, it would turn out to be an encyclopedia. The Great Barrier Reef must look at the same today as it did in 1770 when the British explorer Captain James Cook ran a ship aground along the reef. Captain Cook spent 4 months charting what he called submerged rock piles. Chris says it was a pity that there was no face masks or snorkels or fins in those days. If Captain Cook had seen the unbelievable corals that he had called rock piles, he would have been just as amazed as I was. The corals are absolutely awesome, and the colorful fish are out of a dream too. I think about one family of fish, the butterfly fish, the masked butterfly, the long-snouted butterfly, the beaked butterfly, the banner butterfly. Chris says he can fill half a page with all the different names of this family of fish. Chris says that the Great Barrier Reef can be seen from the moon. Maybe one day, I'll walk along the Great Barrier Reef, looking up at the moon. Every dive is like a wild dream come true. In my journal, I write about some of the weird creatures I saw in one dive alone. Funny-faced clownfish that live in a large, strange home, a school of one-horned unicorn fish, a lumpy, frilly wobbegong shark, 5 different, beautifully covered snails without shells, and one big one that I named E.T. After the dive, the showers, and a big lunch, Mom and I go into the lounge and begin tackling the books. I learned a lot of fascinating things about what I've seen on the morning dive. A family of clownfish lives in a large anemone. They seldom swim more than a few feet away from their home. The clownfish are the only creatures that are safe in the stinging cells of the anemone's tentacles. The anemone clearly protects the little clownfish, but what does the anemone get from the clownfish? Mom says that the colorful clownfish attract other fish to the anemone. These fish are stung by the anemone's writhing mass of tentacles and become the anemone's dinner. Whenever I go to see a clownfish, they quickly dive down into the anemone's tentacles. I could watch the darling clownfish for hours. I love unicorns, even though I know they're not real, but the unicorn fish are real. Today I saw a school of them, about 20 unicorn fish, each one with a large spike stuck out of its head, like the single horn of a unicorn. Another weird creature is the wobbegong, or carpet shark. The one I saw was bigger than Mom. It's a harmless shark that, if left alone by divers. Sharon spotted it. If I hadn't been looking carefully, I wouldn't have known it was there. Colored brown-gray, it's hard to see on the brownish-green reefs it lives on. The weedy growth around its mouth looks like whiskers and helps to hide its mouth. Sharon says the wobbegong is only found in Australia. The underwater photographers are delighted with the beautiful snails without shells, mollusks called nudibranches. Nudibranch means naked gill, and I can see their gills on their backs looking like delicate blooms. There are dozens of species of nudibranches on the Great Barrier Reef, most of them no bigger than 2 inches. But the one I found and named ET was the biggest nudibranch the crew had ever seen. Even Sharon, who knows all these creatures so well, had never seen anything like it before. I measured ET nearly a foot long, and then we put it into a bucket to study. We'll return it to its watery home this afternoon. I felt like a scientist making an important discovery. Oh wow, that was a really fun adventure learning about the Great Barrier Reef. What do you think, Bumblebee? I really like that part too. We'll see you in the next adventure, okay? And we'll see you in the next adventure, here with Wayne Reads. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to see you again. Bye-bye!